I'm going to try to keep this as little blabbermouth as I can. And I'm going to try to do a very concise little short training thing for you guys. But first, before I do, one piece of blabbermouth. I was a dollar store queen before Plexus. Actually, I was the Dollar Tree queen. Sometimes the 99-cent only store, which, by the way, I still highly recommend. I used to get the best hairspray from them that you've ever used if you like to rock your hair big. It would stick your hair to the wall if you needed to. And it was 99 cents only. And I used to tell my husband, hey, I just need to go buy like 10 cans of that. It's worth $10 by itself, but I'd have 10 cans of it. But what I want to show you is, I want to just tell you one little thing. This was in the mail. I'm over at my office. This is my brother's legacy room. I don't know. I'll give you a little glimmer of what it looks like. You've probably seen it on Facebook. It's got all my butterfly stuff, everything anybody's ever sent me, every thank you card anybody has ever given to me. I've got a photo album back here in the back that came from, follow me here. The photo album itself came from Jetty, where did we go? Cabo. Is that what you say? In Mexico. We went right. Okay, we went with, when I was a photographer, I got asked to do a destination wedding for, go figure, my brother's ex-girlfriend. My brother had already passed away, and we did a, well, it was the first time I'd ever gone somewhere out of the country, or actually somewhere out of the state, honestly, to do someone else's wedding. And to do just like, it was like so exciting to me. And they paid for our stay and the whole thing. And while I was there, I bought this really beautiful, I think it's probably just made from straw. Has all these little corner things that you can just slide things in. It's made for pictures, but I've slid all these thank you notes in it that people have sent me over the last 4 years. Thank you notes that say things like, hi, I'm Mackenzie's grandpa. Mackenzie that belongs to fill in the blank. This little girl, by the way, is probably 13 now, but she was 9 at the time. He's like, thank you so much for giving my little girl back to us. She was so active before the juvenile rheumatoid arthritis attacked her knees, and she had been playing softball and all these things, and then she had to be benched and couldn't even turn somersaults and all the things that a little 9-year-old girl should be doing. And thanks to you convincing her mom, his daughter, to try ProBio 5 is what it was. He didn't know what it was. She's now standing in front of me, literally as we speak, with her butt in the air, legs up in the air, doing somersaults or a headstand or whatever. And I was like, wow. And then I got a card from the mom too that has her picture in it, because it's her T-ball picture, or softball or whatever it is that they play when they're 9 years old, because she actually got to play that year instead of sit on the bench and cheer her team on, which is what she had done the previous year, because her knees were swollen up the size of a full-grown man. And all she took was ProBio 5. This is all off the record. You didn't hear me say it. Erase it from your memory. I didn't say any of that. It's not compliant. You can't talk about it on your Facebook wall. But you need to know the power of what we have inside us. Back to the dollar store queen. Okay. I want to tell you what I have in my hand here. It's so funny because just before this little Zoom chat started, I got a private message from one of my friends that's on this Zoom chat that said, your eye makeup looks fabulous. And I thought, how funny that she said that. People will not believe that she actually did say that, because look what I'm fixing to demonstrate for you. You may or may not. When I was a dollar store queen before Plexus, I did not recognize this black box. Just a minute. Allow me to zoom in for you. Okay. I did not recognize this name. Okay. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know when people had fabulous eyes that this is what they knew about that I didn't know about. Now, I can still say to you with all enthusiasm that I don't know why they charge $18 for one of these. They get away with their murder because your eyes look fabulous, and they look that way all the day long. Now, you'll notice I showed you two, because if you find a color like this, now just see this. I don't know if you can see how much purple fabulousness exists inside. It is amazing. It's called HepCat, HEPCAT. Okay. I'm not showing that to you to brag. I did have it out here in front of me, though. I'm just telling you, I never would have known about this stuff, nor would I have ever tried it on my eyes, and it probably is worth the $18 that it cost. Actually, I'm looking at the size of them, and I'm thinking, did I pay $18 for each of these? Because this one's really small in comparison to this one, so I probably paid $18 for this one, and I probably paid more for this one. Now, why I chose to tell you about that tonight, because some of you may not even care anything about makeup. I can't imagine that's the craziest thing I ever heard, but in case you don't care anything about makeup, you may be like, Lori, you're talking crazy Swahili to me. The thing here is, I would have never known about it, and nor does it matter even still to this day, because I was doing just fine with my Dollar Tree hairspray. I'll thank you very much. But it has taught me a whole bunch about, well, first of all, I don't know if you guys saw my post today. I posted, I'm going to read it to you. Give me a moment. 1 second. Hang on. I'm looking at it from my phone. This morning I posted, taking care of my family equals taking care of your family equals taking care of yourself. I used to have that backwards. My family was my priority, right? So my focus and where I spent my time, effort, and money was on them. And I was miserable, and it showed. Let's do that tomorrow, okay, buddy? I'm so exhausted. Can I help you with that tomorrow? Insert a Diet Dr. Pepper 2 or 3 times a day, and you're looking at the old me. Not anymore. Who was I fooling? My kids didn't have a fair version of me. They had slob me, sad me, yuck me. By the way, all of that changed not because of the income. That all changed because the products changed me on the inside. I could go on and on about that for days. And I'm really being silly about the eyeshadow. I did have it out here today because it came in the mail today, and I was super excited because I never in a million years would have paid $18 for one single color of eyeshadow. But then I tried it on, Brenna, and I did say the same thing you said. I tried it on this morning, by the way, and I was like, that stuff is still on. It is still on. But usually by the time we do these Zoom calls, I'm like, it's all faded by the time. So, okay, I'm going to get straight to business now. I had to give you a little bit of entertainment this evening. First and foremost, if you're on the Butterfly page, we started a new series of training videos. Video 1 talks about, in short form, which is hard for me. This is why I'm challenging myself this year. I want you guys fully trained on what can happen for you in your business in videos that I'm trying to do them in like 5 to 7 minute intervals and give you like really power-packed information in that short amount of time. So if you're on the Butterfly page and you go to the search bar and you type in back to the basics, or you can just say basics probably, it will pull up the videos that I have posted so far. The first one is about Candida. It's the shortest I can do to make you understand where all of these amazing testimonies come from. Usually when people start and they're new in the business and they read all these testimonies, or maybe even if they haven't started with the business, they're just taking the products, they think those people are probably lying. If that, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but they're thinking, man, that's a lot of great testimonies. It doesn't really make sense that XYZ, fill in the blank. So I wanted you guys to understand where those amazing testimonies come from. So if you go into the butterfly page, type in basics, that's your first one. Video number 2 is how to post interesting things on Facebook besides your Plexus posts. I know many of you are like, girl, I'm over you telling me how to post about Plexus. You have told us and told us and told us. And maybe if you're new, you're like, you haven't told us. If you're new, I will tell you, I promise you can find lots of videos about that. However, what I noticed was probably missing for some people, especially people who have a full-time job and they're engaged in their life all day long, they may not know or may not have really great ideas of how to post engaging things on Facebook to keep people interested in. If people are interested in your life, they're way more interested in what you do for a living. And I hope that makes sense to you. So I go into that in pretty good detail in video number 2. In fact, I think that video may be one of the longer ones in the series. Video 3 is how to do an edifying list. I'm not going to go into that exactly how that works because I explain it really well in the video, how to make one and how to use it for your business. And the Back to the Basics video number 4, which is the categorized testimony post. Why those posts are relevant to your business, how to use them, and where to find them. Probably the majority of new customers and ambassadors that I bring into this business, the way I hooked them was by sending them one of those links that shows where people have shared their testimonies. It's real people, they're sharing on Facebook, and I've sent them a link saying, look, this is what people said who struggled with XYZ. If you see something here that's interesting to you, let me know and get back to me. And then I usually follow that up with a question. Now, if you haven't watched those videos yet, like I said, I think they're about 5-7 minutes on the average, I think. That would be my first thing that I would have you do. And I would also have you to tag your workers, the ones that you think would be interested in working the business. If they're not interested in working the business, you can tag them too, and that might interest them in working the business. It's not a bad plan, honestly. Give me 1 second. I wanted to share one thing with you guys. Right before I started this call tonight, now she sent it earlier, but I didn't open it until right before this call. And when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh. One of the jewels, she said, I thought this would, I felt led to send this to you today. I thought this would encourage you. So I was like, okay. And she said, so this is something that she was sending from another source, something she'd read today. And it said this: rather than pointing to something negative that is occurring right now, focus on a vision for the thing that is coming and start to speak into the potential of what a group of people could do. To do this, your heart has to change. You have to love them in both where they are now and where they are going, because that is what God is like. You are a bridge to it. And this is, as she said, it's from a book called Seasoned in the Prophetic. Anyway, I'm going to read it to you one more time in case you missed it. Rather than pointing to something negative that is occurring right now, focus on a vision for the thing that is coming and start to speak into the potential of what a group of people could be. To do this, your heart has to change. You have to love them in both where they are now and where they are going. And where they are going. I should have put an emphasis there. Because that is what God is like, and you are a bridge to it. Now, I say that to you tonight because right now, if you are in a position, you're in the new year and you may have made a lot of goals, and you may be reaching out to old prospects, or I should say team members that have been around for a while and they haven't been active or they haven't done whatever. And I was thinking, loving them where they are and getting a vision inside your head for how the future could be. I think that's so important in this business. And, well, for lots of reasons, very important. Okay, hang on. You guys are gonna have to give me one second because you guys are chatting so much that now I'm borderline nervous to see what y'all are talking about. Okay, I was making sure somebody doesn't have a question. Okay, yes. Okay, let me go back to my notes. Okay, so I'm going to give you a challenge for this week. Those of you who have not already done this, and some of you may be in a position where you're like, okay, I just can't do that. I can't go that far. So we'll try to come up with something that's in between. But if you've been in this business long enough and you've watched a few diamond documentaries, it seems like to me that when you watch something like that your heart kind of leaps, especially the diamond documentaries with this company, because they're so real. I mean, I was really opening with something funny and silly about the MAC Cosmetics. These people are all as real as I am. They're all like, many of them, not all of them, but many of them came from dollar store background and are in a position now to where they can give so much back to what their heart feels led. And if you haven't watched many diamond documentaries, my first challenge to you would be pick out a handful of them and just literally spend 2 or 3 hours one afternoon and watch them. They will inspire you into considering more for your life, into considering this business more seriously, because you'll see that the diamonds in the documentaries come from every walk of life, and many of them have achieved amazing things. Some of them in very short time. Some of them it took a really long time. Jetty and I were talking the other day about Deborah and Jerry Lawson. If you have not watched any diamond documentaries, I would encourage you to watch either one of theirs. I love both of their diamond documentaries. They both come from a ministry background, and literally their diamond documentaries are sweet as pudding, if you know what I'm saying. It was like, oh my God, like my tooth is aching. I love watching their diamond documentaries. But my challenge to you is to watch those diamond documentaries, but also have in the back of your mind what your storyline would be. I want you to think about, like, maybe what your life is like now, maybe what your life was like before you got into Plexus. Many of you will have a story that includes, maybe even chronic pain. Some of you that are literally on this call tonight, because I'm kind of scanning your faces, some of you were in the place where you're like, I couldn't get out of bed. I literally couldn't even take care of my kids, whatever. And this company has the products have completely turned your life around. Whether it's actually turned your finances around yet or not, I'm not sure. But so many of you, I want you to visualize, what would I talk about? If somebody stepped up on my porch and said, I want to do a story about you before you were in Plexus, and imagine that you are a diamond, that you have the financial freedom that comes with that title, what would you talk about? What would be important to you? What was important to you before Plexus? And are those things still important to you now? Because I'm going to tell you, those people, almost every diamond documentary, you can see that pretty much stays the same. The things that were important to you before are still important to you now. It's just that for many of those people, they have the means to do something about what's important to them. For Jetty and I, it was important it was important to me to have Jetty in a position of a job that he loved, that was fruitful year round. Like the car business was being fruitful for him. Sometimes it was so amazing, and then sometimes it was like, man, this, like, it was 4 years ago, so it was an election year when he started into Plexus. So it was an election year. So that whole summer, do you remember this, Jetty? That whole summer, I don't know why it was, but it was like nobody was really looking at vehicles. I don't know if it was something to do with gas prices. I mean, something political was going on because you could just feel the stench in the air. And it was like he would come home and he'd be like, I might as well do this Plexus thing. There ain't nobody buying cars. And we were really looking for something that was steady and stable. And this has been very steady and stable for us. Okay, so I've covered the news series of training videos. I want you to imagine your diamond documentary. I saw the Dearies. Are the Dearies online tonight? I didn't see them yet. Oh, wait, are the Dearies on here? Oh, okay. I saw the Dearies. Oh, now I can see. I wanted to say this. I saw the Dearies post that they started a thankful jar. Now, I don't know exactly how this is done. I didn't get on Pinterest to look it up, but my thinking on it is that it's a jar and you write things down that you're thankful for. Let me go over here to Chad so I can see if his facial expression is telling me the truth. Is that true? You write things down that you're thankful for and you put them in the jar so that at the end of the year, you can read through those things, and it would be just really cool to make memories that way. What I was really thinking, and I'm sure they're both very mindful of things like this, so they were probably thinking how awesome it will be because they have a lot of momentum on their team right now. They are, I mean, sometimes I get online and I see one of Chad's posts and I see steam coming up from the post. They've got a lot of momentum on their team right now. And I just, it kind of blows my mind to think of where that momentum is going to take them. They have 7 kids and what they're going to be able to do with the Plexus business because they put their heart in it. And even right now, because Plexus has already incredibly blessed their family. So even from right now, they're already incredibly blessed by this business. But in a year from now, by the end of December, when they start plucking those things out of that jar and they get to relive what this year was like for them, not to mention the fact that as they put those things in that jar, you're giving off energy when you're grateful. I know I can't preach on this enough. I can't tell you enough. When you're grateful, when you're thankful, you are casting it out there in a way that I can't really explain to you how I feel that is the one thing that has probably projected and compelled our business the very most. And Jetty, would you say that that's true? I mean, be honest with me. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. He's not gonna argue with me on this Zoom video, but I believe that we've discussed that before. I believe that the gratitude for the little things, waking up. Hang on, I'm gonna have to mute some people. Is it you, Jetty? Waking up in the morning with. I have some certain groups that were like, I need to be challenged. So the first thing I will challenge them to do is wake up and make it your priority to wake up. If it's not your thing, by the way, to praise God. I appreciate you allowing me what we allow at the first of these Zoom videos. I do that because that's where my heart is. And that's when I wake up. I wake up with gratitude in my heart and I'm praising God in the mornings. And I try, even if I wake up and I feel like I'm in a funk or whatever, I try to wake up in the mornings and for at least 3 minutes before I have another thought in the whole world to focus on what I'm blessed for, what's been blessed in my life. I've been doing this long before Plexus, by the way. And I feel like that's what you need to be doing. I'll just put it that way. I'm seeing how much time I have. There's one more thing I want to cover. Okay. This next topic. We're going to talk about comfort zones for just 1 second because I feel like I ought to talk about comfort zones every single week. Because I think the number one thing that keeps people from advancing to the next rank or finding their next customer or finding their next ambassador is because you're going to have to do something that you don't find appealing. You have to reach out to someone that you really are intimidated by, or you're worried about the rejection. Or most of all, I think what we do is we think, man, I can think of almost a million things I'd rather do than that right now, because it puts us outside our comfort zone. But I want to tell you the position that Jetty and I were in, and I feel like, I know that all of America is not in this position currently, but I think a lot of people are. So I'm going to just see if this speaks to anyone. If this speaks to anyone, it'll be worth saying what I'm about to say. When we started Plexus, we were doing fine. I mean, we were okay. We weren't really in a bad position, but we were one of the first people that family thought of when they were handing clothes down. We were one of the, we were still youngins. Well, we weren't that young. I'm 41 years old. I mean, when I used to think of my mom when she was 41, I was like, she's old. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. So I was, 37 years old, and people were, they'd still, like my aunt, she still had a pity on us for whatever reason. And my cousin, even older cousins of mine, we were still that family. Now, other families in our family were that family as well. And I don't know that we were ever really in the position to where we had to call family and borrow money. I don't know if we ever had to do that. I'm not thinking of that we were ever in a position like that. I'm not making fun of that position, though, at all. I'm just saying, I told Jetty I was never the boss of a $20 bill. And that's because, for one thing, I usually wanted to spend the $20 bill on something that we didn't need. And he was all about prioritizing and making sure that we had the things that we did need. So here's what I want to say to you about comfort zones. And I don't know who's on here tonight that this is going to be like, ding, ding, ding. We are now in the position that occasionally we have family reach out to us because they need to borrow money. And in my mind and in my heart, I want to just say to them, is that more comfortable to you than working this business? Is that, for me, it is very uncomfortable. The feeling of having to borrow money is extremely uncomfortable. For most people, I think it's very uncomfortable to be in that position. I'm not making fun of it at all. I always have extreme sympathy for people, anybody being in that position. But I just think to myself, is it uncomfortable to reach out to a company and say, hey, can we defer my payments? Can I get a Christmas loan? Hey, can I do whatever it is that you can do? Tricks at the bank. I'm going to have to go refinance my home, or whatever it is that you have to do to make your ends meet at home. Is that more comfortable to you than reaching out to someone? And also, is it more comfortable inside your marriage to be in a position to where you're not the boss of a $20 bill, or you are the boss of the $20 bills and you have to tell your spouse that she's not or he's not? Like, I'm the boss of the $20 bills and I'm sorry that you're not. Now, the reason I bring all this up is because all of that was extremely uncomfortable in our marriage. It was uncomfortable. Not only was it uncomfortable, it was room for argument. It was like the most perfect place to camp out and be mad at each other over finances. And we don't, Jenny, do we argue about finances anymore? Go ahead.
Say I'm worried about it?
Do we argue about it anymore?
Oh, no.
No. We don't ever argue about finances anymore. I'm pretty much the boss. Wouldn't you say that's true, babe? He says, I'm just joking about that. But what I can say for sure is it puts you in a whole different situation when the question at the dinner table is whether or not we're going to loan money to someone. whether or not what we're going to do with the excess. You know what I'm saying? How to put money in savings in a smart way. Now, I know that this video is probably not filled with a bunch of tips that you're like, man, she didn't teach me about the power of three. Well, let me give you just a tiny little blurb and say, if you got on here tonight, because there's a lot of you guys on here tonight, and that's good. If you got on here tonight and you're dying for those blurbs or those little tidbits, there are, I'd say, 30 Zoom training videos that we have done in the past that are all recorded, and they're all on YouTube. They're all for the taking for you to go and watch any of them. My hope tonight is to inspire you out of your comfort zone to be in a place where you're thinking, you know, every time that you're faced with something that you have written down, because here's the thing, look, these are the things I need to do tomorrow, right? I need to do these things tomorrow. Now, if one of these things said, reach out to 5 new people, and I had a name on there that makes me a little scared, I can easily give you a lot of reasons that you shouldn't do that. That will make you very nervous. It might make you uncomfortable for like 10 minutes or whatever. But my prayer is that this Zoom call will give you all the reasons in the world to not live inside that bubble anymore. On a totally different note, if you're going to Super Saturday this weekend, just show of hands. Are there many of you? Okay. Hold them up. Keep them, hold them up, because I got to go through the pages of people. Oh, beautifulness. Okay. Now, here's what I have to say about Super Saturday. A couple of things, housekeeping notes that you need to know. When they put the slideshow up, by the way, Jetty and I are trainers, and we are training in Portland, Oregon. I think Allison Bro, and who else is in Oklahoma City, Jetty? Do you know?
Allison and Michelle Thomas, I believe.
Michelle Thomas and her husband are the ones that do Rock the Pink every Monday night. Fabulous. That is going to be a fabulous Super Saturday for any of those of you that are in that area. And the Dallas one is, I've already forgotten, but it was good ones too, because I was so super pleased. Do you remember, Jetty? Anyway, my brain is nearly fried because somebody may be answering me. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, is Molly Orr in Dallas?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Totally lucked out. Oklahoma City and Dallas are totally like, whoa. The ones that were in Oklahoma City last year got to see Molly Orr. She's fantastic. And whoever's with her. It's a fabulous lineup. I'm really excited for you guys to go and come back with lots of notes. Here's what you need to know going in as the butterfly team. When you're all like, oh, that slide, I need to take a picture of that slide. Oh, in case they don't cover this at your Super Saturday, they're going to have the slides available in your back office very soon. So if I were you, knowing what I know, you need to go into Super Saturday with a notebook, because they're not going to provide one this year, and an ink pen, and you don't need to worry about taking pictures of those slides, because they're going to have the beautiful slideshow set up for you that's not screen captured, like you'd have to take a picture of it with the back of someone's head in it, okay? So take your energy and focus it on taking notes and listening at the Super Saturday. Now, this year's presentation is not going to be superiorly focused on products. This year's presentation, and by the way, for this team, that's totally fine, because you guys literally, you ought to be at this point about to choke me because I won't shut up about the products. So it's very, very, very focused on business building tips and how to build a team and all these things. That's why I didn't go into a lot of stuff tonight about, I wanted to build some belief, give you a little bit of dream work tonight, because we're in the new year portion of the year. But I'm telling you, I want you to go with open-mindedness, with a notebook and an ink pen in your hand. And they are going to be launching, I know you know this already, the new, they're calling it the Success Kit, right, Jetty?
Yeah.
Okay. instead of it's not a welcome pack, because the welcome pack is the products that you get in the mail when you sign up. The welcome kit that people are going to get when they sign up now, and I'm just telling you right now, I'm so excited about it. Jetty and I were on and several other people, not just us, were on in the focus group that helped give the company all the ideas to come up with what this success kit need to look like. And it is going to take this company from, well, like right now, our current success kit looks like, yay, the post office brought me something, to it's going to look more like what this company would send you, like, or Tiffany and Company. I mean, it's going to have more of this like flair to it. The box is beautiful. The box design, and I'm sure that you'll get to see this, but I want it to have the description in your head. The box design is made out of the same stuff that Apple products come in. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like slick with the little slick and really thick cardboard, top of the line, where for yourself, you may be like, I don't really care. But for new prospects, for them to get something like that in the mail is going to be totally different than what you got. If you're going to Super Saturday, you get one of those. It was paid for in the price of your registration. It's going to be filled with stuff that I'm not going to give away any surprises, even though I want to bubble out of my pores so that you can see how cool they're going to be. But it's what you would expect out of a company of our magnitude. And I'm just really excited about that. Super Saturday, they're going to go over what the success kit is like and how to use your success guide, which is beautiful now. The success guide is going to be something that when a new ambassador receives it, they are going to be in the position to pull that out of their kit and be able to start the business without doing anything. They don't have to hear from you. So if you have like a dead level 1 and your level 2 gets a kit, you don't have to sit around worrying if they're ever going to figure out how to work this business, because they're going to have everything in their hands from the time that the mailman drops it off to work this business. It's going to be very duplicatable. And also, I may have told you guys this already, but also very early this year, they're also launching duplicatable training in your back office that's going to literally take you a step at a time through how to work the business. And so when you sign someone brand new up and you're like, I don't know what to tell them at the very beginning, you don't have to. Their back office is going to prompt them, hey, have you gone in there and done what you're supposed to, basically, to get from one step to the other? And it's going to, when you open your dashboard now and it tells you you are commission qualified or you aren't commission qualified, now what the back office is going to do is basically give you prompts that remind you, okay, I need to do this. Oh my gosh, I have so many people raising their hand and I'm ignoring y'all. Okay. Hang on a minute. I can't see the raised hands because there's several pages of us on here tonight. Okay. Kathy James, do you still have a question? I see your hand. Here, let me unmute you.
No.
Okay. Actually, I think some of you may have raised your hand when I said show of hands who's going to be there.
Yes.
Rebecca Ortiz.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was
Okay. All right. That I just now panicked. I thought, oh my gosh, that's what that is. Never mind. If somebody else has a question though, and you need to raise your hand. Oh, hang on. It looks like y'all have questions in the chat. 1 second. Okay. It's my understanding, and I don't think this is a secret, if you're a current ambassador and you're not going to Super Saturday, they will be for order in the back office, I believe. They're not expensive. I don't know if I was supposed to tell you that or not. I didn't tell you that. Don't tell me. Don't get me in trouble. Pretend like it's a surprise. When Molly Orr tells you, you say, oh my gosh, I would have never dreamed it, okay? I don't think it's that big of a secret, but it's only fair that everybody should be able to get one. That way you know what your new ambassadors are getting. Let me see what the other questions are. Okay, some of you are messaging me privately, and I will answer you after this call. Let me see. Okay, so another thing I want you guys to imagine, one other thing, and then I'm going to pray over you, and then we'll call it good. Give me 1 second here. Hold on. Don't move.
I can hear her walking through the house, but I have no idea where she just went. Where did you go?
I'm coming. He's afraid he's going to have to ramble for a minute. Okay. If the diamond documentary is too much of a stretch, I told you I'd try to help you come up with a middle ground. I want to show you what I want you to imagine. If you're like, Lori, I just can't go there in my mind. You know, I couldn't pay my electric bill last month. I can't imagine that. So, okay, here's what I want you to imagine. This is what I was describing in the beginning. When we went and did that destination wedding, I bought this thinking I was going to put photos in it. But, okay. Whoop, oh, goodness. Something already fell out of it. These are thank you cards sent to me in the real mail. Okay. From people who have gotten their life back ever since I was brave enough to start blabbering. Hang on a second. And here is the stack that I haven't had a chance to put in there yet. Little kids drawing me pictures, telling me thank you because they're well now. So, if you're like, I have no desire to be a diamond, nor do I like your MAC eyeshadow, maybe you would like a photo album that looked like this someday, because this is one of my most prized possessions. And in the case of a fire, this is going with me, people. This and my pictures would be what goes with me. Long before the MAC eyeshadow, this would be what's going with me. So if you need an in-between goal that you're like, okay, I want to inspire people, I want to get people well, I want to help people free from the burdens of financial problems, and I want people to experience what I've experienced because of these products and because of this opportunity. That's where it's at. Now, since it's about out of time, I want you guys to do with me what we've been practicing. For those of you who are brand new, I'll give you just a brief overview. Before we pray tonight, before we pray any night from now on, I want you guys to do this thing with me that's basically, I just want you to touch your heart with your fingers. And the reason we do this, there's no secret to it. There's no magic to it. It's to keep you from getting too distracted. Literally, wherever your hand is touching on your body, your attention goes there. And so basically, if you're have a touch of ADD, or you tend to hear noises when things get quiet or whatever, that will help you stay focused. And also, what I'm going to have you do is we're going to breathe slower. I want you to just close your eyes and just listen to your breathing. Now, what we're really doing here, now, you know when people do yoga and they meditate, and you're like, that ain't happening. I'm not going to crisscross applesauce or any of that. So don't start with me, Lori. But all I want you to do is just breathe a little slower, because what I want you to do is because I'm fixing to go talk to God on our behalf, and I want us all focused in, and I want us in our hearts when we do it and not inside our heads, because our head is where all the trash lives and where the burdens live and where complicated stuff lives and where chaos lives, and the Holy Spirit actually lives in our hearts. So we need to go there. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and I want everybody to just breathe for just a few seconds. Breathe slow, in and out. Hang on, I'm going to mute everybody again. I hear some noise. All right, we're just breathing. And now I want you to start thinking about something that you're really grateful for. I did this exercise with my son the other day, and I can promise you he was thinking about his dog. Think about something that you're very grateful for. And focus on that. Lord, we come to you tonight just with gratefulness in our hearts and love. We feel your mercy, God. We're grateful for who you are and humble because of it. We love you with all our hearts. We thank you for where we are right now. Whether that feels like a place where we're learning lots of lessons, if it feels very temporary, we're just grateful that whatever it is part of the plan. And if it feels like a piece of the puzzle that's like struggle, Lord, we lift that to you and just ask you for peace in that situation, whatever the situation is, because you are greater than any situation. And you're the author and the finisher of our faith. And our faith is in you. Lord, I'm personally grateful for this team, for people that give their hearts to a greater calling, people who are willing to put fear aside and reach out and help other people with their struggles. Lord, any way that the enemy might be trying to attack our team, any of us in our family lives, in our jobs, in any way, Lord, I'm just so grateful for how powerful you are, and that I just pray that we don't get caught up in that so much that we forget your power. Yeah, I'm so grateful that we don't forget your power, and that you are the King of Kings, and that we are your children. I lift up marriages on this team, and I pray that every single person that we come in contact with, Lord, that your light shines through us and literally spills out onto them in a contagious way where they can feel it. And they know that it's divine and that it's only coming from you. Thank you for this new year. Thank you for this election year. And whatever your plan is this year, I just trust that you've known since the beginning of time how things will pan out this year. And even if it's not the way I choose, or the way Jetty chooses, or the way one of us on this call chooses, that it's still the way it's supposed to be, because it's part of your plan. I pray over everyone who's going to be traveling over the next few days, going to these Super Saturdays or elsewhere. I pray your mercy on their travels, and that every encounter that they have would be completely divine. Every person they come in contact with, that the people that they come in contact with would feel your love. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for this secret hidden ministry that you've given us. A way to reach other people on a physical, I'm hurting inside, I need something to help me kind of way, so that they will trust us in other areas, God. We love you so much, and we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, you guys, be praying over our Super Saturday. They're getting us our last minute information as we speak. So I'm going to see if there's any final questions really quick. Okay, anybody who is messaging me privately on here and I haven't answered your question already, make sure you send that to me on Facebook. I'm going to stop